anytime we can, we'll try to pump up castles, of course, because your vassals typically don't have a lot of money, so we want to supplement them in a variety of different ways. And let's go ahead and make our first vassal. Welcome back again, friends, to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related. Welcome back again to our epic Vlandian campaign. We are going to start this episode with something that is long overdue. This gentleman, it's such a funny term. This vicious, savage spy warrior of ours here is finally going to get his due in this episode. I am referring indeed to Marshal Saxe. I appreciate you, brother. Joel Hall has a long time ran the Discord channel. We've got some other companions to introduce in this episode as well, but we need to go ahead and give Marshal Saxe the first player clan of this epic Vlandian campaign. In the previous episode, we took Carbanthsith and some other territory, and even though Carbanthsith is going to be difficult to keep afloat, both for food and for troops, it does have a large militia there, and this savage badass character has been with us since almost the beginning, which is appropriate because Joel Hall and Marshal Saxe, that's what he goes by in the Discord, has been with our channel since almost the beginning. So we're gonna go ahead and talk to you, brother. Joel Hall is former military, and we're going to initiate him into the fold here with Carbanthsith. We'll go ahead and give up some influence, give up some gold. We have plenty of both at this stage, and we need to start developing player clans so that we have sizable armies out there, so that we have something else in the fray besides just Baron York and all his tenacity. The House of the Saxe. Let's just do House of Saxe probably sounds better. I know it's not the most original name, but we'll roll with it here. Now, I think he's actually going to be Baron Marshal Saxe, but that's all right. And we are going to talk about vassals, the best way, I think, to micromanage them, to help them along in a campaign. This is a good start, though, right? He's got a city that's fairly prosperous. He's got a garrison there that he can pull from. He can't join our army yet, and we're probably not going to marry you off there, Joel. And besides, I heard you're happily married, or at least married. Hopefully it's happily. We're going to give you some cash, though, to start your little life here. Vassals, as you can see, start out with just 20,000 dinars, which is not really enough in Bannerlord. And then eventually we will add influence. We will give him troops, etc. We will meet his other, I guess, subordinate vassals as well. And that's a good start for us in today's episode. Now, Sturgia just declared peace again with the Khazate. So we are at war again with Sturgia, although the focus remains on the scum Vlandians. In fact, this might be the final episode for Vlandia, although that also might be a tall order here in our usual hour-long episodes. Rovault is still up here. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but frankly, Baron York is hiding. He's playing incognito from Wazuban. Now let's introduce a couple other characters. These guys are Patreon supporters. We are getting them into the campaign. This fella here, he had an elaborate storyline, which we may embellish upon at some points during this campaign, but he said he wanted a middle-aged, tall, badass warrior with Justicer. I did the best I can. You know, anytime you guys send me details of how you want your characters built, and if you recognize his character specs, we simply copied and pasted a character who died maybe 5 or 10 episodes ago. So I don't think it's too big of a deal. We're sort of borrowing some stats here and a starter's kit of warriors. Now we had to get this guy into the campaign, right? Entho the Black. It's so cool. This was that Robalt's rebel guy. He actually disappeared, and I couldn't even find him on the encyclopedia. So we've added Ramirez here. We got to get this guy some better armor. He said, please let my dude survive at least one battle. We'll do the best we can, brother. Maybe we'll keep you in the 8th Corps or something like that and out of the biggest part of the fray. Get these guys some good looking armor here. And Entho the Black is probably also a candidate for a fief here, either in this episode or upcoming episodes. This guy, if you didn't see the storyline, he was pretty helpful to Baron York as a rebel. It was pretty amazing. He was sort of the Sturgeon / Norse Bane for 5-6 episodes. He was adding into fights with the beautiful reinforcement system. Now, Marshal Saxe is going to be part of the army. I like to give new companion, new player clan armies, you know, these smaller armies, training wheels. I like to include them in the big army. That way they develop things like engineering, leadership, etc., without being out there amongst the fray of these nasty enemies we're facing. Especially in this campaign, it's going to be necessary. Now we've got these fucking cockroach Vlandians. They just won't go away. Baron York has already executed several, kind of like squishing cockroaches or catching mice with traps. They just keep on coming. I think we'll just fight this very quickly at the beginning of this episode here. I can kind of get my sea legs about me. My playing time has been a little bit sporadic because of hiking trips, etc. And I feel a little bit rusty here. So before we get into any huge battles, sometimes it's kind of nice to have a smaller battle and continue to talk about the campaign, talk about player clans, talk about George the Bandit King is probably another candidate for a fief soon. George the Bandit King, another Patreon supporter. It's a perfect companion clan, right, to have this Bandit King, because at this stage the Baron probably has 5 or 10% of the army, maybe 15% of the army is bandits. Units like the Sea Raiders and the Brigands, and even a few Forest Bandits. So that seems appropriate. In fact, I think when I can, if we make George, not if, I'm going to, we're going to make George a player kingdom, we will probably give him some bandits to start off. I think that's appropriate, right? He's got a cool axe. He's one of the few characters so far that has been directly copy-pasted from somebody's campaign. There's been a couple others, but he's the most notable. And while he's powerful, he's not like uber powerful. I think he was like level 28 or something like that, 26. Considering the foes we're facing, I don't have any problem with that at all. Now, I'm not going to tell you too much about the tactics here, because this Vlandian force, although strong, we outnumber it 2-to-1. So trying to keep casualties under a couple hundred here, and just sort of get into the fray again. Very difficult to just pick up Bannerlord if you haven't been playing it in a while. My previous mouse is, although we started off the episode by just jump scorching some noble on a camel, you know, I'm using a different mouse, and as you can see from my drunk horse driving here, it's going to take a few episodes, or at least a few battles, before we sort of regain our skill set. Bannerlord is an incredibly difficult game to start with, a very steep learning curve, but one of the beautiful things, like so many other games, chess, whatever it is, choose your hobby, it is amazing how comfortable you get at Bannerlord or any other game with enough practice, right? You take this incredibly difficult combat simulator, commanding troops. I can even narrate, you know, while I command 8 divisions fairly adequately, and then of course still stabs, well, of course then I whiff, stab some crossbowmen in the face here. Now this is a lot of archers. We're going to take a lot more casualties than I was hoping, because they have so many archers. That's like 200 crossbow. And as we've talked about ad nauseum on the channel, crossbow just eat up cavalry and Bannerlord. So player clans, how many player clans? What are some of the pros and cons, right? Well, obvious pros and cons in vanilla Bannerlord is they make their own armies. You get these free nobles when you make a player clan. They usually have 2. I think I've seen 3 once or twice. 3 additional nobles. They're fairly reasonable level. I would say, without knowing exactly their skill level, I would say they average probably level 20 or 25. Right, some of these guys have 180 two-handed and stuff like that. So you instantly add some nobles to your kingdom, and then those nobles, through the RNG process of the game, are able to create armies, and on some effect, you know, they'll be able to gather larger armies if they have enough influence, if they have enough gold, if they have enough troops, etc. That's something we'll talk about probably in future episodes. At the beginning here, as we lose one of our minor clans in battle, the Death for All mod is still cranked, so that's going to be a feature. But in the beginning here, I don't generally expect player clans to be very active. In other words, you make them a clan, and then you give them some money, and then what I typically do is call them to the main army, which at this stage makes sense anyways, because the Baron doesn't have a huge army. His army is anywhere between 1,000, and we've had like 1,500. You know, at the beginning here, we need these troops. In fact, we're going to be gathering a couple troops here and stop by this garrison. So player clans become very important in the late game, and a campaign like this where the Baron has been, you know, a vassal for most of it. It's a very different world. Once you're your own kingdom, of course, most of you guys know, but you can't be in more than one spot at a time. And so the Baron is going to be dealing with multiple attacks at various different points. And it'll really help to have a Marshal Saxe or a George the Bandit King or something like that leading an army. Even if it's an army of 600, that can be the difference between losing, say, a Carbanthith and keeping it, right? Having that extra army out there. I will talk about how to streamline those armies so that they have the highest rate of success possible. That's very important in Bannerlord. And there's a lot of things you can do that a lot of players, even experienced players, don't really know about. So hopefully I can give you guys some nuggets of wisdom that help in your campaign. Now we're setting up for a monster siege here, at least by Baron York's standings here in this new kingdom stage. The Vlandians are down to Oxhall and a couple, maybe they have 3 castles, and we're going to siege this bastard down here, right? We're hemorrhaging some troops here. We're calling Marshal Saxe to our army. He finally has enough troops to add to the army, and we're gonna go ahead and take Oxhall on. There's a huge garrison there, so this is going to be a gnarly siege. But it's very important when a kingdom is on their last legs to knock the legs out of them, right? If they're on their, I guess their last leg is a better word for it. You can't have legs unless you're like a centipede. And when they're down to their last leg, you break out the Nancy Kerrigan or whatever the fuck it was she was like a speed skater or figure skater or something, and she got clubbed by some gal who wanted to get elected to the Olympic team. You got some female drudgery out there in the Olympics. That's probably predates some of you young guys, but it was quite a scandal when I was in my teens. I'm gonna head up here to Druamore Castle, even though we're hemorrhaging troops here, even though we were almost to the gates of Oxhall. There was a large garrison inside Oxhall and a bunch of nobles. I'm kind of hoping those nobles will leave, form an army, then we can destroy them, and that'll make it a lot more viable to siege Oxhall. I don't want to siege it with 1,600 defenders. And whatever's here, hopefully we can squash it real fast. I know it's stupid to a lot of guys, but I just got very slight chills. Zuvan. The legend of Zuvan is, it's growing. For guys who haven't been around the channel very long, this is the highest level player character I ever had. He was like in the mid or upper 50s. We copy-pasted him over for this campaign, and then we boosted his stats even more, artificially even more. He's sieging here. I'm going to let him siege. I know this is strange. I'm not avoiding combat altogether. I'm kind of avoiding it, but the other castle's already being assaulted. And we can maybe backdoor Zuvan. I'm like contemplating. Well, again, the rule of thumb is we're not sneaking into castles against less than 2,500, and it always feels wrong to sneak into a castle when you have 1,600. You can just picture huge amounts of troops pouring in a side sally gate, sally port, and the enemy's looking around like, what's happening? I don't know. There appears to be a gigantic army going inside the castle. Should we do something? Yeah, cut down a couple hundred of them, let the rest in. Damn, the Sturgeons are back. And they have big fucking armies. This is going to be a gnarly brawl here. The Sturgeons have been brutal in this campaign. Of course, that is by design, right? I'll try to call them the Nords, because the Nords really are taking over here. If you guys haven't gotten that theme, the Sturgeons have been pushed aside by the power of these Nords. Zuvan and company is leading sort of one faction. There's 3 or 4 factions of these Nords coming over in their longboats, and they are starting to push aside the Sturgeons, and the Varangians, of course, are their pride and joy. These ultra powerful tier 5 and tier 6 noble units, infantry. You know what? We may not make it back there to take on Zuvan anyways. He's just blasting through the city defenses. So we'll see. But one bridge at a time here, right? One battle at a time. We've got to defeat this very powerful force. Sven Forkbeard is here. I think he was the father of Knut Forkbeard, or maybe it was the other way around. My medieval history is worse than my early modern and late medieval history. But this is a good landscape for us to fight on, right? Nice open battlefield where our archers, our cavalry can sweep through their archers pretty well. our crossbow can set up. I can get a skirmisher division on a flank here. And it really is a war of attrition, right? We need to not only win this battle, but we need to win it with like at least 1,000 troops to have any chance, or 800 maybe, plus a bunch of injured, to have any chance of taking on the mighty Zuvan. I don't know if Zuvan has been defeated in this campaign. Maybe once by Rylan, but even Rylan took his ass beatings from Zuvan. His army is off the charts powerful, and that is because they have off the charts stats. I want to say his medicine skill is 500 or something like that. Basically, all of the units in Zuvan's army are gods, right? They're just incredibly powerful. So we'll see. But one battle at a time here, and Sven Forkbeard is also, his medicine skill was over 330. I blipped it up there for you guys to see while I was talking 1,000 miles an hour. It's difficult to, to try to work out the pace of these episodes. Sometimes I go a little slower, and I can't help but wonder if I'm boring guys a bit. Other times I talk fast, and then I hear guys like, "You're talking so fast, I can't see what's going on." I'm trying to find the balance, fellas. Of course, leave feedback as always. As long as you're not an asshole about it, I'm pretty receptive to constructive criticism. Now, Marshal Saxe, back where he belongs, in charge of that 4th Division. Of course, that guy went by a different name for the first 40 episodes of this campaign. Only recently did we rename him Marshal Saxe. Finally asked Joel on the Discord and said, "Hey, brother, would you want a character in this campaign?" He said, "Sure." And I think it's appropriate since that guy's basically been my lieutenant running the Discord, being a tactical assistant to all kinds of people asking questions when I'm not there. He does an incredible amount of work to make the to make the Discord channel lively, intelligent, and clean, right? There's no racism. He's in there moderating people, telling them to shut the fuck up if they say anything racist or whatever. And I appreciate that. We had to get him in this campaign. And Joel is definitely a tactician in his own regards. I've seen some of his tactics on the battlefield. They're highly unique, and in some ways the tactics that we've developed for the channel here are an amalgamation of guys like Joel, Angry Goldfish, etc. It's always that's the human way. It's just to continue to improve upon the previous generation. Now, this is a gnarly battle here. There's a lot of sturgeons. It may not be as big as some of the battles, although, of course, with the battle size menu, it feels titanic. But in Baron York's campaign, Baron York's portion of it, this is about the gnarliest force that we've faced. It's a huge amount of Varangians in a giant wedge. I've got a couple defensive divisions. The 2nd Cav Division is defensive. We're running an offensive Cav Division here. Garrison Keeler is in charge of the 8th Corps. It's another supporter. He's ripping it with some offensive cavalry, while our 2nd makes a wall here against this Varangian. I'm hoping that'll provide a little bit of time for our archers and crossbow to work. And then, of course, our skirmisher division here on the flank, the 7th Corps. And I'm consistently trying to get that to be Zeus. We've got a guy, he said he's the mortal son of Zeus, actually. That's another one of our player companions. He's got kind of a... well, not kind of, right? If you're the son of Zeus, he's got a warrior spec, he's got some javelins, and I think it's appropriate. Him and George the Bandit King are frequently going to lead... Fuck, I'm getting swallowed up here. Frequently going to lead that 3rd and 7th Division. I better start fighting here and stop narrating these battles. It's so fucking tenuous, right? Like, any single one of these can be a loss where the Baron has to retreat, basically, and just give up this castle, and that would be really damaging at this stage. We're just trying to get our legs under ourselves right now, and I thought we had more time before the Sturgeons would come back, but here they come, right? 2 huge armies, and what's crazy is they're still on and off rampaging against the Khazate, right? The Sturgeons really do have a powerhouse kingdom in this campaign, and that's perfect, because that was my intent with these ultra-powered Varangians. We're going to have to get in here with cavalry, okay, thankfully our reinforcements are right here. Our archers have a good angle downhill, and their archers are further away, but the death spam is still amazingly red, as these very tough Varangians, armored to the hilt, wielding 2-handed axes. There's a lord. Let's kill this lord with an axe, especially. Man, these axe-wielding Sturgeons, look at him just in there killing our cavalrymen. Kill this guy. He's just mowing down our banner knights. That was Sven Forkbeard we just killed. God, he was fucking rampaging. And that's great to see up close, right? You can see how deadly these enemy lords are, and you got to be very careful if they turn their wrath on you, right? They'll two-shot or one-shot Baron York, and he has 200 hit points, right? They have immense weapon capacity. They have good weapons, of course, noble loads, but I also have artificially high stats. I don't know for sure, but I think Sven Forkbeard had like 350 or 400 two-handed. You could see how fast he was swinging his axe. Fucking deadly. Now, it's starting to get a little ugly, but I do have some plans here, right? One of the things I can start to do, because we're close to our reinforcement, is as soon as we destroy this infantry here, we've got to destroy this main vanguard. We're blocking off their archers with cavalry. I'm going to start getting flanking divisions over here. I can split the infantry. We can make 2 infantry divisions, and then I can get a crossbow division also on the enemy flank. Just mangled. In fact, I think I just killed, or Baron York anyways, just killed Lashanek. Usually when a noble screams like that in agony, that's usually a death cry. Of course, with that Death for All mod, it happens, right? You guys obviously have seen it, and of course, plenty of the guys making companions, you guys are riding on the edge of your seat, right? Because every single battle, I think there's like a 1 in 30 chance or 1 in 50 chance or something that your character dies. You add up how many battles we're fighting. It's a dangerous world out there, friends. Buckle up. Alright, starting to feel a little bit more comfortable here with our mouse, and that's good, right? Because there is a huge amount of enemy archers moving up. What's nasty about these Nordic forces, right, these Sturgeon forces, they don't just have powerful infantry, they seem to have a lot of archers, right? Instead of having a lot of cavalry, they have a lot of archers, which is optimal, right? That is the deadliest combination in Bannerlord. Guys ask, you know, how many cavalry should I have? Well, how many cavalry? 15, 20%? I think that's about the most you want to have, right? Unless, of course, you're playing Khazate or the Asurai, then it's 40%. But, you know, if I was playing the Sturgeons, it'd be 15%. They'd be almost strictly defensive. The cavalry's coming right in on our infantry's flank here. Fuck. Not much I can do about it. Good luck, guys. And that's kind of what the enemy's been doing, right? These Nordic forces, these Sturgeon Nordic forces, have been rolling out armies with 20%, 15% cavalry, and that's nasty. Now, part of the reason for that is simple. They don't have a tier 6 noble cavalry anymore, right? Which means that all those former Judzinnik champions are now on the ground as foot troops, right? Which gives them 60, 70, 80% infantry, and that's perfect. Now, from what we understand, the Norse are going to have no cavalry. I don't think that makes any sense. Maybe they give them a minor clan or something with some cavalry, but I like this as a nice amalgamation while we wait for this highly anticipated DLC. Now, I got to get Baron York a little bloody here. I still have half a health bar. He's got elite armor. I was going to say he's young and virile. He's old and virile. Like, the Baron is like one of those guys that just goes and goes and goes. He's ancient. His teeth might be falling out, but he's got a wicked sword arm, and you do not want to be on the other end of it. Just carving people apart. He's got lots of hit points, elite armor, athleticism. You bitches fucked up attacking this guy here, right? It's just handing out beatdowns. And our army's starting to roll here, right? We've got infantry on the flank here. I'm going to start pushing cavalry in front of us here. I love doing that. You see all those archers we're facing, the skirmishers? Let's just push cavalry right in front of them. They're like linebackers or linemen, if you will. Look at that protection wall, right? All of those skirmishers throwing javelins while they're hitting our cavalry now instead of our archers and infantry. You guys plow the road, baby. We smash everything in sight. Those guys are a ways over there. I still like it, though. The enemy's reeling here. They're definitely starting to regroup. Let's push in on them, right? You got to do this collective, concerted effort. A lot of our guys aren't up to the line, but let's try to take momentum in this battle here. Charge. They still have 600 troops, but they're really reeling, right? We've definitely beat the shit out of them. I need to stop using that. They're really reeling. Fucking brilliant narration here. All right, keep pushing, keep pushing. Don't let them fucking reform solid lines here. Like a boxer, right? Just keep on swinging wild uppercuts. Even if you get tired, the enemy's definitely in worse shape than we are. Push. They might even be fucking routed. They are. Look at that behavior. They're just funneling, streaming off the battlefield as fast as they can. Smells like victory, right? Beautiful. We got a lot of troops left too, maybe even enough to take on Zuvan, and we just lost the leader of the fucking Brotherhood. But I did kill that noble. That was the guy that Baron York scorched with a savage blow to his kidney, and evidently it was fatal. Now I'll try to show you guys, you know, the companions as these guys level up, right? Ramirez, I think that's how to pronounce this fella's companion. Like I said, he had a very elaborate character storyline. It's difficult for me to bring those into the narration, into the campaign, of course, because I'm playing live. I'm narrating it live. I can't stare down at my phone or have a separate monitor up and read all the details. But I'll do the best I can. And there are some really interesting storylines that people send me with their characters. I like that, right? It enhances the campaign. It makes it even more creative. And of course, you guys are invested, right? You guys that are part of the Patreon, you guys that are part of our YouTube channel, I appreciate all of the supporters. Hopefully you guys don't mind me pumping up the Patreon supporters. At this stage, it's about half the income, so to speak, from this little hobby job. If you're curious, it's about $300 a month I make from the Patreon supporters, although I guess they take 10%, so we'll call it $270. I can get a nice little used car payment on you guys, and I greatly appreciate that. Now, I don't think we're gonna make it here to Ormondfard Castle. It's getting foggy. 30. This castle's gonna collapse here. It just did. Fuck. And look what happened. Zuvan just rescued. You know, we'll roleplay. He sieged that castle to release all these prisoners. Look at all the Sturgeon and Norse leaders that he just released. Oh shit, look at this too. Oregar of the Khazates grants Morania Castle to Hal with his council support. I love it, right? Hal's on the other side of things. Of course, if you're watching this campaign chronologically, you know there's some shit happening, right? There's a lot of shit happening behind the scenes as we continue to weave this story. Now, frankly, I'm not thrilled about Zuvan attacking us right here. It is a good landscape, but we're a little banged up, and I'm kind of glad he's recuperating in the city, although this camel motherfucker is charging after us. It's decision-making time, right? I could definitely try to push back against the Sturgeons, but I think sometimes, you know, when you want to fight one kingdom and not the other, you're better off kind of ignoring the kingdom that's at war with you. That's scary, right? I can kind of ignore Zuvan now. Now they have peace with the Khazate. Oh, the Aserai and the Khazate. Okay. I think it makes sense. God, he's already sieging Drumore Castle. I think it makes sense for us here to siege Oxhall. Oxhall is the last big city that the Vlandians have. If we could take that, give it to a supporter, make another player clan, I think at this stage that's probably the right decision. I could run back to Drumore, but you go back and forth long enough, right? As we get a little autosave here, you go back and forth a little bit, you vacillate, and you know what happens, right? You vacillate yourself into a corner. Fuck it, right? The Baron plays offense. We're gonna siege Oxhall. The Baron hates the Vlandians more than anything. And look at this shit. Ragenvad is giving out spoils to Zuvan. I love that shit, fellas. This has been great. Of course, I have some mods that we're using to allow this to happen, but it's like these other campaigns that we've had on the channel, from Wazuban and the Epic Aserai campaign to Zuvan, which was like my original character I started playing Bannerlord on YouTube for. He's in this campaign. He's a terror, and I think it's fucking great. Hopefully you guys are enjoying that process. I better sit up for this shit. I start to sag in my seat, and I think that starts to affect my playing. What is this shit? These Vlandian forces are tailing me now. It's ominous. There's a huge defense force in Oxhall. In fact, I was hoping it would be less than 1,500. It's almost 2,000 now. And you guys see a little bit behind the scenes here, right? Of course, it feels like there are two campaigns. Obviously, it's one, right? So, congrats to Hal and Yesha. They just had twins. Of course, we're role-playing that's happening down in the south. But obviously, these campaigns are one. We're just, I'm, sort of pulling some strings and a little bit of smoke and mirrors to keep you guys in the illusion that we have all these different things going on. Now, I want more cursor sensory. That should help a little bit here. And I want this city. This city is worth fighting for. I'm very concerned about all these forces outside the city. This is 600, 700 Vlandians running around, and there's more kind of here and there. There's an army forming over here. There could be Zuvan adding to this battle, which would be death for sure, right? You just gotta kind of hope and pray. I would actually love to see like Zuvan is sieging Karbanseth or something like that, because that means he can't add in as a reinforcement, right? Both by distance, but also because if you're sieging, you can't add in obviously as a reinforcement. Now we've got a good army for siege here, right? We've got a fair bit of sharpshooters. The Baron doesn't really like sharpshooters, but he's warming up to them. That's because as the content creator, as the pilot of this ship, I can tell you, you need that. You need those sharpshooters to win against what we're facing here. So I don't see any sturgeons. Let's do this. God, there's fucking 2,000 inside, and I don't know, maybe there's 800 outside here. It's very ominous, and I think this is one of those situations where I can't starve them out. They have 70 days worth of food, and you know what that shit is? That's all our old food that we stockpiled here. So these fucking Vlandians are just eating gigantic meals off of our food. Of course, they've got commanders in here with the strengthened AI mod with 300 plus siege skills, so they're fighting like wolves to hold on to this thing. What a fucking pain in the ass. Why the hell did I play such a difficult campaign, fellas? This sucks. I can't wait to play something easier. When you go to like the custom battle menu, man, I tell you, it's easier just whipping on armies that don't have elite lords and shit like that. I think though, what I was saying is it's worth it. Sieging down the walls here. They're low level walls, right? This is a level 1 or level 2 city or something like that. They're wooden. So if we can get one, I'd like to get both walls down, and we're going to be able to get, it's going to be close to night, which I would like to avoid. If they can destroy that fire catapult, we'll launch this siege. And the reason it's worth it to take this extra time is because look at what we're facing, right? Not only 1,900 defenders, probably strong defenders, but they have all kinds of Vlandian forces outside here. So I'm very concerned about how this siege is going to go, which means buckle up, right? Enjoy a little epic siege here in today's episode. And this feels like a seminal moment for Baron York. I always thought that was strangely sexual, seminal. I don't actually remember what it stands for, but basically, if you've never heard of that term, it's a critical moment, right? This is crossing the Rubicon for the Baron. We must win this castle, this city siege. Now, there's enough light here. It's kind of a dusk twilight. We're going to roll with it. We've got holes in both walls, right? So that's definitely going to make it easier, but not easy, right? There's still 2,000 defenders inside. It's basically like fighting a gigantic open field battle. And reinforcements? Certain. Not probable. There's a certainty of reinforcements here, right? The Vlandians have a ton of forces outside. So priority number 1, of course, is beating down the defenders. But then we're going to have to establish defensive lines and a rear guard to try to fend off this enemy coming behind us, right? This beautiful reinforcement system creates these kinds of scenarios, and I am fucking thrilled. In fact, while we set up some captains here and I come up with a strategy, I'm going to get a little caffeine. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to have a skirmisher division. 2nd and 4th, I think we're going to try to sweep from right to left through the city. So the Baron has, you know, a decreased taken melee attack damage. I like him having high-end troops, right? So we'll switch a Baron to the 4th, and we'll have Zeus in the 2nd division, right? That guy's our skirmisher captain. He gives them nice perks. And there's a lovely amount of skirmishers in there. Now, there's some that are sort of cheating, right? There's a few Sturgeon Brigands in there. Again, I can't stop these minor clans from doing that shit. Even with mods, I don't think you can do that. But that's still mostly Vlandian units and or bandits. I think we'll sweep from right to left. We've got 4 archer divisions to move up. We've got this... Oh, shit. These guys are mixed. Let's reset this division. Sometimes you get crossbow mixed in with your archers. The Baron in charge of the 4th, that's going to be the lead wedge division, right? We are going to cram that through the door, follow it up with skirmishers, archers, and the elite 8th Corps. In fact, I think the 8th Corps will be on reserve. I could put more nobles in the 8th Corps, but I like them kind of sprinkled around. People ask sometimes. I don't know if they'll use that ram with both holes. A lot of times the AI will just surge up to the wall, and the ram is sort of dysfunctional. I do have catapults too. Here we go, fire catapults. So we're going to position this where it got good line of sight to scorch the enemies as we try to break in. Of course, we've done so many epic siege at this stage. We're definitely siege down to a science, but we're going to need it, right? There's absolutely no way you win this battle with either just sergeants in control or like very minor tactics. We're going to have to be tactical gurus if we have any chance of overcoming this. I mean, 1900. There might be almost 3,000 defenders here because, again, it's a certainty we get attacked from outside. Now we've got some trebuchets adding to the carnage, and it is absolute carnage, right? Buckle up, right? The Lord of the Rings and the whole siege, you know, at Helm's Deep has nothing on this shit, right? The sieges in Bannerlord are absolutely picturesque, incredible battles. We got shit on fire here. We got both sides here fighting to the fucking death. Let's do this shit here, and we got a blind dipshit on the catapult. Come on, boys, charge! I fucking love this shit. The lighting is actually perfect. It's just light enough to give good visibility, and yet we have these smoking, fiery catapults and shit like that. It's fucking great. Let's see if this guy shoots any better. Get him out of here, this fucking myopic, stupid fuck. Probably running into trees on the way in. Can't see anything. Hit the wall like 3 times in a row. God damn it, my horse is in the way here. Fucking things going wrong so far in this siege. Come on, boy. Out of the way. All right, so I've got the second and fourth there. The biggest key here is to dial in our accuracy, and you want to. Well, that's a good lucky first shot. What you want to do, of course, is you want to err on the side of safety here. I'm going to be shooting high and wide for a little bit because I don't want to just blast, you know, George the Bandit King with the flaming catapult round and kill the guy. We're not safe scumming for these, right? So if I kill your companion with the fireball, I will apologize. Try to get you a new companion. Let's get these second division out of line of sight here. These guys are in the way. I will get you a new companion if and when I can, but there is a little bit of a list, right? So if your companion gets killed, no, it's like a dodgeball tournament. This fucking guy here, this is my catapult. Get the fuck out of here. He fucking recalibrated it now too, didn't he? Look at, these guys have an affinity for the wall. Let's keep hitting the wall there, you stupid dipshit. Shit, they just hit my horse with an arrow. Everything going wrong so far in this siege. Damn it. Now this guy's fucking taking off with my catapult again. Starting to get angry. Look at now. He's dialed in again to the wall. Damn it, man. And we're missing critical time, right? Because the reinforcements are coming. The reinforcements are timed events in Bannerlord. Those reinforcements will be here. It's nice because there's a little tiny random element to it. I would guess 10 minutes. Maybe we have 8 minutes. 8 to 10 minutes before the fucking Vlandian cavalry comes in, right? So we've got to punch a hole here. We've got to make a dent in the enemy forces here. In fact, I think this catapult is a detriment right now. I can't hit shit. And start moving these divisions up. I really was hoping to bait the enemy, right? If you can bait the enemy out, that's optimal. At least that guy in the catapult there killed some troops. We do have a lot of archers out here, so we've killed most of the archers on the wall. Of course, the walls are Swiss cheese, right? We've smashed the shit out of the walls before the siege started. I like that effect. It basically simulates we've been blasting the city walls for a couple weeks. And, yeah, of course, there's a giant wedge of armored troops inside there. Oh, yeah, good. Come on out. Catch a javelin right in the groin. Just, oh, God, that would hurt. You might just want to die if you got hit in the groin by a javelin. Come on out, bitches. So sometimes you can have a little bit of success if the AI says, hey, we could win here, let's sally out. Sometimes that works well. Here they come, in fact. It's almost like they heard me. Let's charge. Good. Second Corps can open fire here, and here come the javelin bolts. Damn, they're falling back already. I've been holding fire with our skirmishers, of course, because I want the enemy to be thick for us to smoke them. It was just a little, they'll do these little fake charges. I gotta watch out for those flaming rounds. Let's try to push the fourth. Oh shit. Oh shit. I'm getting fucking pushed back hard. Alright, open fire. Let's get the fourth corps off to the flank here. They are coming out strong this time. There's Varangians at the helm too. There we go. The catapult guys smoked a bunch of their troops. Alright, I think that fourth corps is going to start squeezing in, and what it's done is it's trapped a lot of these Vlandians out here. Open fire, boys. Kill these guys. Beautiful. They're getting smoked while they try to regroup. We're going to push right in here. Second, fourth, fifth. Let's get that 8th corps. The 8th corps is on hold fire, right? We're trying to save a little bit of ammo. Talking 1,000 miles an hour because there's a lot of shit going on. Here's our chance, right? 2nd, 5th, and 8th. Let's just push right through this pathetic Vlandian line. Of course, it's 3 deep of armored tier 5 and 6 units. Pathetic. Weak-ass Vlandians, right? You guys are dead. You're dead. It's one of my favorite calls. You're dead. Die, you bastard. Who doesn't love Bannerlord, man? Go play some other blousy game. This thing is fucking amazing. Holy shit, there's a lot of shock troops here. Let's fall back to our second corps. We're around the corner now. I've got a little tavern. I can catch a drink while my troops fight. Is that... Oh, I thought that was George the Bandit King right there. I love fighting by the companions. The second corps, there's actually so many of them here. They're in my way. Charge. Oh shit, there's a crossbow over here. Let's push them towards the crossbow and wheel around the edge here. The 5th corps is coming over here too, so we'll have archer support very soon. We've got to make a dent though on all these sharpshooters and hardened crossbow. Kill them boys. God, there's a lot. The death spam does not look particularly good, but that happens, right? When you're pushing in hard on a city like this, and there's just, you know, hundreds and hundreds of defenders, it gets messy. 2, 3. I pull a few guys here to the 5th Division because I want to try to take these walls. If we can get a bunch of archers established on the walls, rain down some arrows on the enemy, it can pay real dividends as this battle goes on. And what a battle we have here, right? It's just a huge scrum. Almost brings a tear to my eye. Let's get the 5th Corps right here. We're bringing over some crossbow right here. Spread out. Come on. That'll have to do. There we go. Perfect. All right, let's shove this infantry division right in on their troops. I've got the 8th outside. We can pull still. Let's start getting archers spread out on this side of the city. Once you get a puncture like this, you just push to the end. Right? This is our meal ticket here. If we're going to win this keep siege, it's going to be with this push. We can't afford to fall back. We still have archers behind us here, but at least we're sort of counter shooting. God, there's a lot of them over here. Let's see. Let's get some infantry over here, even if I have to pull them. They have all kinds of elite infantry here. There's fucking Khans guards and fiend champs. Look how many fiend champs they have. This is wild. This is fucking Vlandian. They just cornered themselves. I mean, the 8th Corps is coming. These guys are going to eat. Look at them all. Here they come. That's our 8th Corps. Kill them all. They just absolutely sandwiched and smashed all those forces. That'll be some good death spam. All right. 5th Corps separated and spread out. We've completely swamped this right side, although, man, there's a lot of enemy forces here fighting in the center. To hell with you, right? Let's start spreading out skirmishers here in the antechamber. Don't go outside. What the fuck are you guys doing? Oh, I see. Some of their guys were told to go outside. So far, no reinforcements, right? How much time do we have? I don't know. 5 minutes? Maybe they won't join at all, right? If we just smash the defenders really bad, maybe there won't be any reinforcements. It's probably wishful thinking, but sometimes, you know, if you're just putting a beat down on the enemy, these guys are straight out suiciding. And, man, they still have 600 troops over there. 700. Fuck. Push that 3rd there. We're going to start taking over the alleyways here, right? If you can get 2 or 3 different archer divisions spread out in the different alleyways, any way that the enemy comes at you, they're just crossfired into oblivion, right? They're shot from so many angles, they have no fucking chance. Now, right now, the AI is totally rallying on the other side of the keep. That's not what I anticipated. I anticipated them trying to stop us here. But there's also, you know, we have forces charging the other side. That's Marco, right? Marco is on the other side. That's another supporter. He's leading the 1st Division. And even though his first character died, right, he's risen again, and he's leading that 1st Division as a stoic, right? Just doesn't give a shit. I got some companions right here, right? That's, I think that's Zeus, right, or whatever. His name is like Atreus Zeus Anon. I don't know what that means, but, you know, we're rolling with it. If you guys give me a character name, by the way, that looks like Elon Musk's son's name, where it's like unpronounceable, I'm not going to take it. We're okay having kind of some irregularities, but not something totally crazy. And this city is collapsing, right? We are smashing it right to left, just like I hoped. So far, so good, right? The city's falling quickly. In fact, I can make a giant long line of elite archers. Look at this shit. We just took over all their walls. Now, it's going to pay dividends initially here, but if we get reinforcements come from the outside, man, are those guys going to be under duress, right? They're going to be shot to pieces by the incoming attackers. Still, no reinforcements yet, right? So let's try to take advantage of what we can. Look at all our guys spreading out in the alleyways. Fucking beautiful. There's fucking houses on fire and shit. It's fucking just absolutely beautiful, man. Literally almost brings a tear to my eye. Anybody who's a fan of epic combat and battles, eat your heart out. Oh, you fucker. God damn. I got like a fucking zombie apocalypse fiend champ here. Die. My sword's not hitting him. It's like going right through the guy. I can't hit him. He was like a ghost. That had to be a bug. My sword swings were literally going right through him. Okay, they got a pocketed crossbow over here. Let's assess this threat. Now, you can F1, F3 this, right? But you're going to suffer grievous losses compared to tactics, right? This is where tactics shine, even though it's absolute chaos. It's beautiful chaos. And it's still recording. I see the little green dot down there. Thank goodness, right? Sometimes I'll have a great battle like this and the shit won't record. We're going to definitely have to get some firefighters on the pension at this city, on the payroll, because this city's on fire. It's too bad that shit doesn't spread, right? And houses collapse and shit like that. That would be an added level of amazing. Maybe that's Bannerlord 3. But, you know, just in case, right? Just in case the horn of reinforcements comes in here, let's keep pushing hard here, and let's position archers all over the city so that it's our city here. Now, I don't have an infantry division here, and I don't want to split it, so what we're going to do here is bring up archers and charge, hold fire, right? So these guys are close. Fuck it. No shooting, right? And what I want is every sharpshooter, fiend champ, and whatnot that's in there just up here swinging away with me, right? Just cutting the heads off the enemy defenders. Charge, right? Let's get in here vicious. It's the George the Bandit. I can't read it. I gotta fucking try to survive now. It can't be allies, right? I guess that has to be enemy forces coming in. I didn't see what it said. God damn it, now I'm getting fucking chased down by the Jet Li militia posse. Out of my fucking way, you little turd militia. I gotta see what's happening here. Thank goodness I had a good health bar up until that point. Okay, these defenders are about to break. Let's get in here and help them. Okay, that I see. The fucking Vlandians are here. The reinforcements are here. I've been worried about it, and here we go. Man, we have a gigantic horde of troops there that blasted. A horse exploded as it ran through there. All right, let's start wedging up these holes here. We can't let their cavalry get loose in the city. That's the major problem with reinforcements, is that a lot of them are mounted, especially in this case the Vlandians. They fuck you up in a city, right? Because your archers can't see them until they come around a corner. Just like Bannerlord Online. The next thing you know, you catch a spear in the face. There's a noble running around in the backfield. Now, fuck. That side's wedged up good, though. I mean, there's a wedge there with archers spreading out and spraying everything with arrows as they come in. Let's see if this is a small press or a bunch of forces. Our archers are up here just scorching the enemy as they come in, and it is a fuckload. They're pouring in. Holy shit, we've got an Armageddon siege, and the siege it's on the reverse foot, man. It's so beautiful, right? They attacked. We were the attacker. Now they're the attacker. It's carnage. Let's try to block this front gate here. We've opened the door, right? So that means the enemy can just walk right in, I think. I got hung up on the ladder well. There's tons of cavalry pouring through here. We've got to get infantry at the door here. I'm going to get speared. Fuck. More enemies are coming. Rhea's army joined the battle as an enemy. Fuck me. Gotta jam this front gate up. They're just pouring through with cavalry. It's carnage. Oh shit, now there's infantry behind them. Fortunately, they're not high-level infantry. Let's get archers back here set up in a big long line. Shit, these guys are coming in fucking couch lance too. At least there's not 30 cavalry, there's like 10 inside the city. Let's jam the front gate. Let's get some skirmishers and archers behind them. Get these fucking horses out of here. Here comes a nice big archer division. For glory! Cuts a guy down. All right, we got a nice infantry line heading towards the front gate. And let's hold this city, boys. We just took Oxhall. The enemy's coming in now. Let's pull these guys back in, right? The last thing we want is guys sallying out. Not until the enemy's reeling or we're more organized. All these infantrymen, get back in here. They're all going to get slain. 59 troops. Let's try to square him right here at the entrance. There's such a delicate balance in a siege like this, right? We want to counterattack, but we don't want to charge too wildly outside. That's another lord. There's just bodies everywhere. More lords are joining. Join the battle as an enemy. Wow. Kill her. Of course, these lords have like 500 hit points now. I didn't mention that, but the lords, they have now 4x their normal hit points. That's a feature of what's called the... oh, shit. Oh, shit. It's carnage. All these cavalry in here. Oh, shit. That guy was coming in couch lance. You fuck. It's fucking amazing. Alright, that's not going to work. Let's split those guys off. That way the archers are coming around the flank. Yeah, you stood up, you punk-ass banner knight. The powerful hero mod, right? You can make the enemy lords even stronger, right? In this case, I've now given them 400x, or I guess it's 4x hit points. So if they have 150 normally, they'll have 600 for the campaign, which is just awesome, right? You have like these T1000. A guy once said you have T1000 lords. It makes it amazing. There's a huge press coming in over here. We've got elite infantry attacking our fucking defense division over here. We're gonna have to clean up the tartar on this tooth. It's a lot of fucking plaque starting to build up here. There's all kinds of sergeants and horsemen everywhere. I don't know if this defensive division is going to last very long. Fuck it. It's probably better off in this case having these guys charge. Which division are you, boys? Third division. Charge, boys. It's hard to get more carnage than this. I mean, this is an absolutely chaotic battlefield. Of course, I've got to go pay attention to the other locations, but it's like... command triage. I would love to just sit in a tower somewhere. But Baron York is so important in a battle like this to be down here killing guys. Guys are getting double teamed. If you can get one of the guys off them or kill some enemy lord that's rampaging through your ranks. So important, to use tactics in a battle like this and get your sword bloody. The enemy's sending waves of infantry now through the front gate. I bet they have crossbow outside. And we're starting to turn the corner here. The cavalry's bottled up at the gate there. I've got all these archers that I can't use because we can't let all these cavalrymen get loose inside the city now. They're lighting everything up here, right? These guys are getting lit on fire as they try to siege their own city. How beautiful is this, right? This just has to be part of a future expansion pack, right? For Tail Worlds. Just buy the code from this guy, right? Pay the dude a couple grand or something like that. Get him on the Tail Worlds team. I don't know. Do something like that. And then refine it, right? Make it even more refined. Make it so that the player can sally against the enemy and attack them while they're actually at siege, right? It would be so amazing. All right. All these crossbow. Let's start pushing at that front gate. It might be time to blow a hole out the gate here. Let's do a little reconnaissance, but it might be time for us to take the offense here. There's fucking dead horses strewn about. It's just total carnage, and they're all bottled up here. If we can get a flank on these bitches, we can roll right through them. It's risky, but all these crossbow are not very useful inside here, right? They're going to be eventually a liability because they're going to have troops pouring in on them. Let's use these boys to flank. I've got to make sure I've got my ducks in a row here. 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and we can get the 8th eventually. That's an elite division. There's a handful of troops here at the door. You guys aren't about to hold the Baron Rock. Out of the fucking way. Need yourself a horse. Of course, we lost our horse at the very early stages of this battle. Fucking sucked. Got a posse of crossbow trying to get the bounty. All you guys do is water the grass. All right, it's going to be some losses here initially because we're pushing out 2 infantry divisions, 1, 2, 3. We can get 3 crossbow divisions spread out here and then have them charge. Anybody that's out of ammo, they can push in. Maybe that's 200. It's so hard to know how many enemy forces it is. Maybe that's more than 200. They've got some in the gatehouse fighting, and of course they can get more, right? They can have more come from the back of the battlefield here. I just think now is the moment, right? It's risky, but the Baron is all about risk, right? He's all about aggression. The Baron does not sit back. Okay, we've got a good line over there. We've got to get this infantry up here, and let's drive a wedge for him. Fucker. I need a horse. I see fucking George the Bandit King, baby. Yeah! Fucking beautiful. Zeus is in here still throwing javelins. I'm taking a beating here, but, you know, we're trying to make a big push, and the death spam is very marginal. It's a lot of red to it. They have so many cavalry here at the gate. Let's try to carve a hole here so our troops can get in, get out, and help. Now we can get a horse. Oh, charged in there, that 4th division. Those guys are coming, holding fire. We can have them open fire once they're out here. Now they're in trouble, right? The Baron's on horse. Of course, all their cavalrymen are just targeting me like 1,000 fucking times all the other units. It seems like they prioritize you when you're on a horse in this kind of situation. It's chaos. Now there's nothing at the back of the lines here, right? So whatever the Vlandians have here is probably all they have. We're down to a fucking fraction of health. It's amazing the Baron's still up. We've got to make a dent in all these crossbow. They've got like 150 crossbow here. You're dead! They've got a bunch of knights still, too. That's a problem. That's the Baron's job here, right? We've got to take out as many of those guys as we can. These fucking sharpshooters. Man, it's bloody. Oh, shit. We lost our fucking horse. Fight to the death. Oh, we got fucking smoked in the face. What do we got here? Who's this? Is this George the Bandit King? All right, buddy. He's got like 200 two-handed skill and a big old axe. Let's kill some people, George. Let's go. Come on, baby. It's close. There's not much tactics at this stage, right? All of our units are pouring out of the castle on offense. A lot of units are out of ammo. You have to remember, we started this battle as attackers, so they're out of ammo, and your offensive units do not get more ammo. So this is what we got. Somehow George still has javelins. Gotta use those javelins more, buddy. He's like, I'm not even playing, dude. It's the AI. Don't blame me. God, I don't see very many troops left. And of course, you don't see the power bar probably. This battle obviously is razor close. It's like 100 on 100 here at the end. I need to get on a horse. Give me a horse. George has like the OG, the original ideal weapon loadout, I think. The two-handed weapon with 3 stacks of javelins. Fucking love it. Now, George's character, I think he had custom weapons. By the way, if you're curious, George was one of the people who submitted their Disaster of War episodes for the channel. So that's why he's here. And unless they have more troops coming, I think we got this shit. There's like a dozen cavalry running around. Once we get George on a horse here, this battle's going to be over. And our maybe 100 survivors. I don't even know if we have 100 survivors of this amazing siege. I mean, you're just praying you don't hear, brr, 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 Zuvan's army has arrived. These guys are stuck. We'll help them off to Valhalla. Catch a javelin right in the back of the head. Attaboy. But George was a contributor to the Disaster of War series and popped onto our Patreon and said, hey, I'd like to be part of your campaign. Can I copy paste my character? And here he is, right? He's now playing a part of this battle at a critical stage. He's racking up fucking kills here. Hopefully I don't take a spear to the face and your guy gets killed on YouTube. Instead, you're ragdolling banner knights. It's fucking beautiful. And you cross your fingers, right, that the Baron didn't get killed. I don't think so. Maybe, right? There's always a chance with that death for all. But we'll see. Let's try to finish this guy here. Blow up the guy's shield. George the Bandit King, dude. It's fucking beautiful. We got this battle. I don't know what's left. It looks like there's one Banner Knight left. And I just took a deep breath because what an incredible siege. I mean, if you're watching this, that shit's got to be exhilarating to watch. And look at this battlefield, right? This is unbelievable carnage. I mean, there are just carcasses across the whole screen. The whole city. This is going to take weeks to clean up all the dead. It was incredibly bloody. I'm not really sure what's left here. Maybe there's a unit retreating or something like that. Oh, shit. There's a noble stuck here. Well, let's put her down here. George wants the kill here. Right, let's get the symbolic last kill with George. George the Bandit King here. Just going to give this gal a headshot. Sigatruda. George bellows. I think she just died too. That usually means battle should be over, right? That usually means the noble died. And what a fucking battle. We have 50 troops left. 51 troops is all that's left. I need to pop my neck. And Sigatruda did die. And I mean, it's carnage, but of course it's a video game, so it's like beautiful carnage. And the random soundtrack turns to like this somber scene as houses are on fire, and the amount of death in this battle was intense. Amazingly, there weren't more noble deaths, right? You guys can all take a deep breath. Marco, Zeus, all the other supporters. Somehow, despite all of this carnage and burned and broken carts and houses and dead horses, and I mean, this is an amazing amount of corpses. And thank goodness that captured, right? Again, I'm looking down. There's a nice little green orb. We are recording. And what an incredible sort of culmination to Baron York's war against the Vlandians. This titanic battle. We killed 3,000 Vlandians. All those reinforcements came in, and we just barely had enough in the tank to finish the deal here. Now, the Vlandians are basically broken. I think they have 2, maybe 3 castles left. That doesn't mean they're just going to lay down their arms. But Baron York, you can safely say, has gotten the last word against the Vlandians, right? The Vlandians that treated him kind of like shit, and then basically snubbed their nose at him because he wasn't officially a noble. Maybe because he was banging half of their wives. I guess that's another good reason. And we need money badly here. We gave a lot of our money to Marshal Saxe. You're worth it, brother. But we're going broke, basically. So we're going to sell these prisoners here, and I probably won't take you through that drudgery. In fact, I think we'll wrap this episode up here. A heap of upgrades. Thank goodness nobody died there, right? Ramirez, you made it through your first battle, brother. And of course, the story of all these companions can shape into something more. Obviously, with the Nord campaign, I'm hoping to carry on a lot of these characters. You might be an enemy character, by the way. I reserve the right to use your character in future campaigns as an enemy, right? Maybe we'll cut off the head of your of your companion, George. You might get cut down by some Nords in the future. That's just the way of it. Of course, we're all just having good fun here. Hopefully you had fun, because that battle, this episode was intense. I enjoyed that battle to a great degree. I need a shower, a cigarette. I don't even smoke. Of course, if you want to see more from this epic Vlandian campaign, I do promise it will be epic. It has been epic. Now's your time to subscribe. Hit that like button on the way out, everybody. I appreciate all of you folks, and I will see you next time.